So, Anthropology Optional 2026 mains the priority chapters in paper 2. So, priority chapters. So, priority chapters in paper 2. Already we discussed paper 1, priority 1 chapters in the previous video. Now we are going to discuss. So, when it comes to paper 2, the Indian prehistory, Indian society and civilization, and tribal India, three components are there. So, within the Indian prehistory, so you should cover every segment like cultural evolution of Indian prehistory from Paleolithic to Iron Age. So Iron Age must and should every phase you have to cover. So mostly you focus on the sites. So sites, archaeologists. So along with archaeologists along with various pages and most important sites that is very significant in Indian prehistory, as well as important personalities such as V.M. Mishra and other people that archaeologists also you have to cover. So that means everything is important in Indian prehistory. You cannot able to omit anything. The second one is Indian society and civilization. So here you can take in human evolution part. So human evolution part. So paleo evidences of human evolution specifically from Shivalik Hills. So Shivalik Hills under Narmada Valley. So Narmada Valley. So Dryopithecus apes such as Ramapithecus and Shivapithecus, as well as Homo erectus, Narmada man. So Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada man. So among these three, every year one question is coming. So this is the priority 1. So that means due to time issues or any other reason, if you want quickly cover those chapters which get most number of questions, so this is the sequence, and you go to the directly second chapter. This is 1.1. So this is 1.2. So second chapter is there, which is fall under the Indian society and civilization, demographic profile of India. So demographic profile of India, that every year 1 or 2 questions are coming. Demographic profile of India. So mostly you focus on the linguistic elements within India. So linguistic elements, racial elements, so the structure and composition of the population, the factors for population growth, the factors for population sinking in some other states, so regional variations, sun preference. So these are all the population associated issues. So population associated issues. So these two areas you must and should cover in chapter number 2, that is demographic profile of India. So 3.1. So structure and function of the structures and functions of the Indian traditional society. Functions of traditional Indian society. So traditional Indian societies. So every year questions are coming from this chapter. So Varnashrama, Purushartha, Rina, rebirth. So these are all the things you should cover from here. Mostly you should identify what are those relevances in present day. So that factor or that dimension must and should cover, like Varnashrama's relevance in the present day, Purushartha's relevance in the present day. So how rebirth and guna connected to the hierarchy or stratification in India. So these scope or dimensions must and should you cover. So 3.2, very, very important, cost to studies in India. So cost to studies in India. So specifically you focus on anthropologists like G.S. Gurve, Louis Dumont, or else M.N. Srinivas, so Andrew Bitale. So anthropologists, especially socio-cultural anthropologists and sociologists, their views and their contribution for the Indian cost studies, that you have heavily focused. And next one is 3.3. So 3.3. So sacred complex and nature man spirit complex. So this you can do it as a priority 2 because already many times it has asked. So priority 1 you can omit temporarily, but so once the priority 1 chapters are got over, then you will look at the priority 2. So 3.4 is very important. So impact of Buddhism, Jainism, next Islam and Christianity. Islam and Christianity on Hindu society or Brahminical society. So this is very important. Every year you are getting the question. It should be dealt as a priority number 1. And fourth chapter, very important. So mostly all anthropologists in India, ranging from British administrators of 18th, 19th and 20th century, early 20th century, British administrators' contribution. So British and Indian anthropologist contribution. So anthropologist contribution. So apart from that, you should also cover, so second portion of the, or else 20th century Indian anthropologist studied villages and tribals, or caste studies and village tribal studies. Caste and tribal studies done by Indian anthropologist, So these two aspects, Indian anthropologist. So British administrators as well as Indian anthropologists who studied caste and tribal societies, that you should not omit. Who are those? What contributions they made for this portion? So chapter number 4, growth, development. So growth, development and the emergence of Indian anthropology. So emergence of Indian anthropology. So those topics or documents I will specially provide it to the students who are appearing for the mains 2026. And this is very important. You should do in the priority 1. So another chapter, village studies, 5.1. So village studies. So village studies is very important. Every year you would expect like 2 questions from this chapter. So one long answer, another one is the short answer, you would easily expect. So 5.2. So linguistic and religious minorities, that should be the priority 2. Once you done the priority 1, you can do the priority 2. So 5.3 is priority number 1. So social change in India. So social change in India. So the whatever mentioned in the syllabus, the UPSC examiner is not restricting for the items mentioned in the syllabus. Per se, Sanskritization, so westernization, so next modernization. So you can see little and great traditions. So Panchayati Raj, media and social change. Okay, these are all the issues mentioned in the syllabus. But examiner is asking about impact of globalization on Indian societies. Those anthropologists who studied the process of globalization. But you can see globalization is not mentioned. So sometime you might ask like secularization. So you should remember here, this is the portion all we called as a Indian society and civilization. From chapter number 2 to 5.3 we called Indian society and civilization. Every chapter, whatever I told you, priority 1, subsequent, that means the correlated chapters also found in the sociology. So integrate the sociologist topics for these chapters so that you could be able to easily write the answers. Per se, globalization impact on Indian society directly present in the sociology. So he is simply borrowing the sociology concepts into the anthropology. So priority 1, you should cover multiple sources. So multiple sources among these anthropology books and selective reading of sociology topics for the same syllabus. Per se, caste studies present in anthropology as well as sociology. So views of Ambedkar is not directly present in anthropology, but it has taken from the sociology. Understand? Gandhi views, all these people. So Those questions which present in anthropology paper but not in anthropology books means those are all borrowed from the sociology. That is simply you should remember. So if you could not able to find all these topics and not able to properly organize at this speed of time, so I will help you. I will forward those documents. You can simply read it. So this is the priority number 1 chapters in Indian society and civilization along with archaeology. So in tribal studies, so tribal studies priority number 1. So 6.1. So tribal position in India. So tribal position in India, you should not omit. And 6.2 specific tribal problems. So specific tribal problems. And 6.3. So development and displacement. So development and displacement. So forest policies. So urbanization and industrialization. So urbanization and industrialization. So these chapters, so these 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, everything you have to read. This is the priority number 1. So 7.1. So problems and exploitations of SC, ST, OBCs. So problems and exploitations and constitutional safeguards. So constitutional safeguards for SC, ST, OBCs. So this chapter also very important. So 7.2 social change and contemporary tribes, that you can put it as a priority 2. So priority 2. So very vague questions are coming from this chapter. You should put it in a priority 2. 7.1 is priority 1. 7.3 ethnic relations or ethnic conflicts. So ethnic conflicts is a priority number 1. You should not omit this chapter. Ethnic conflicts, especially tribal conflicts, that you can study here. So 8.1. So this is the priority 1. This is also priority 1. So impact of Hinduism, Buddhism, so next Christianity and Islam on tribal societies. Tribal society. This is also priority number 1. So next 8.2 tribe and nation study. 8.2 tribe and nation study. This is a priority 2. So this is the priority 2. You should not read in the first instances. So tribe and nation study. So tribe and nation states. So how tribes were protected or indigenous people were protected in the Australia, North America, South America. So India, this is how comparative studies of the tribal preservation protection across the nation states. That is the chapter. The content also very less available. You should keep it as a priority number 2. So next 9.1. So 9.1 is a priority number 1. Must and should you study this one. Tribal administration. So tribal administration. So their history, classification of tribes into PVTGs. Okay. So next nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. So this is a various classification, their problems and historical administration, policies, everything comes under the tribal administration. So this is the priority 1. So now 9.2, 9.3 and 9.3. So these are all the priority number 2. So 9.2 is talking about the contribution of anthropology for the rural and tribal development. So you have the data, but that is not sufficient to score more marks in the 9.2 syllabus. 9.3 is understanding of anthropology. So contribution of anthropology in understanding. So regionalism. So communalism. So regionalism, communalism, political and ethnical movements. So political and ethnic movements. This is also you can put as a priority number 2. So overall, what are all the second priority? Priority 2 chapters means, so you can see ethnoarchaeology, So ethno-archaeology. Next one, that is 1.3. 1.3. Next one is 3.4. 3.3. So sacred complex, nature man spirit complex. Next 5.2. So religious and linguistic minorities. So religious and linguistic minorities. Next, so 7.2. Social change and contemporary tribes. Contemporary tribes. Next, 8.2. Tribe and nation states. Tribe and nation states. Next, 9.2. Role of anthropology in tribal and rural development. So rural development. 9.3. Role of anthropology to understanding the regionalism, communalism. So political and ethnic movements. So first of all, these topics. So when you are choosing the paper 2 question, while reading time, you put these chapters as a priority 2. So after completing the rest of the chapters, you come to the priority 2 chapters. So when you have a conflict of picking a question from priority 1 chapters and priority 2 chapters, give priority 1. So priority 2 chapters are getting less score compared to the priority 1. So if you have to choose one question from priority 1 and priority 2 while writing, go for the priority number 1 chapter so that you will get the more number of score. So this is the selection of questions. So from these areas, if you get a questions, you try to minimize writing, attempting, and other rest of the chapters, you attempt more number of questions so that you could be able to reach 160 plus marks in the paper 2. So this is all about the what to be studied in the first instances when time is less, what to be given second priority. So priority number 1 chapters should be covered from the multiple sources. Priority 2 chapters are covered from single source. That is enough. If you follow this strategy, you could able to easily cross the 300 plus marks in anthropology. So this is all about. Thank you.